Hello, and welcome back to the Have We Made It Yet podcast. I am your co-host, the comedian Josh Yang.
Oh, and I am the actor portion of this podcast, Lucas Ng.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And we are co-hosts of the podcast where a bunch of creatives talk about the process of making it from the beginning to the inevitable end that we all... Sorry, that went a little dark there. But all the ups and downs of making it, the highs, the lows, and we just want to be able to share that process through this podcast. Lucas, in order to get things going, got to ask you that question. Have you made it yet?
Wow, you're already asking me at the 1 minute mark of this intro? God damn, Josh. Is it because we have a pretty big guest today? Is that why?
I think so. I think so.
Speed through this. Okay, yeah. We'll get rid of our preamble first. No, I have not made it yet. But two things. So after 7 months, I finally got a haircut, which feels good. Literal weight off my head feels good. And second, I went to my first rehearsal of a short film that I'll be filming later this year, which was cool. So I got to meet the director in person. We did a rehearsal with my co-star outside, all COVID protocols and all that stuff too. So it was just cool to really meet my collaborators and everything. So I'm really excited for this film that's going to come out, and it should be really good. Thirdly, I did want to say this one thing. I'm currently prepping for a scene that I'll be filming on Friday. So it is something that I am working on, that I've been working on this whole week. I recently met up, just before this recording, I met up with some of my actor friends over Zoom to just talk about the script, run it through with them. They gave me some notes, some feedback. But I just want to emphasize the importance of community in this creative pursuit that we're going under, because it might feel incredibly lonely, but the moment you have great friends that can bounce off ideas with you and also talk to you about how to get things to a better level, then by all means keep them, because they are incredible people that want to see you succeed and also want to see them succeed. Those are my three things.
Aw.
Mr. Josh Yang.
Yes.
Have you made it yet?
I have not, and I have no updates to give. Nothing interesting happening to me. I did also get a haircut, but I only trimmed a couple inches off of it because I had a last minute moment of crisis. Like, who am I now without the long hair that I've had for a while? So I was like, maybe I'll just take my time with it. I'll just cut it shorter over a period of time, get more used to it. But see if the the medium long hair-ish kind of thing. Okay, I'll give it another shot.
Still looks good.
Well, thank you. I mean, it was just a little bit of a trim there, and it might still get pretty long, so I'll just have to trim it in the future. Either way, minor identity crisis over. Comedy's coming back to Toronto. It seems like when we're going to enter stage 3 soon. July 16 or 17 or something like that. So as things open up, bars open up, it feels like we're finally turning the corner. So these shows, it looks like they're probably going to come back. I saw a posting about Absolute Comedy. I believe that they're going to start putting on live shows again. So that's good to see. And hopefully with more things popping back up, there'll be more opportunities to go out and do spots. So looking forward to that. Got to try to finish up and do some more writing there. But looking good on the horizon.
Everyone needs to see Josh live when the bars do open up again, because 2 thumbs up, man. This guy's damn hilarious.
Oh, I mean, we're in this to self-promote. So thank you, Lucas, for doing that. But yes, without further ado, let's get to our guest for today. I met our current guest, surprise, surprise, at church years ago, which seems to be a ongoing theme in a lot of our episodes. Just a bunch of churchgoers that decided to go into creatives and arts. But yeah, I met him through church years ago. Didn't realize he was into film until a few years ago when I found out he entered the motion pictures arts program at Capilano University, focusing on directing. So that was a kind of surprising news to hear, and also pleasantly surprising because it was nice to see another Asian person who's interested in things outside of your traditional Asian streams of employment and life. And yeah, really, admired him for taking the courage to plunge into the motion pictures program, get into the industry at a young age, and really know that this was his passion and wanted to pursue it. And yeah, I remember doing that, him going into that a few years ago, and then moved to Toronto, doing other stuff. And then I saw on Facebook a couple months ago that he released a short trailer for his short film called Go for Broke, which was his final project out of the Capilano University program. And it looked like he was getting some good responses, good feedback from it. Submitting to different film festivals. He actually won Best Short Film at the New York International Film Awards for the month of May, which was great to see. Very happy for him to get that kind of recognition from his final project. And I thought it was cool to see and try to get him on to talk to him about it, because I remember when he was like kind of just a student there, and now coming out of it, he's got this short film. He's going through the process of like the film circuit, short film circuit. So that's an experience I think, would be interesting to dive into. And I'm very excited to have him on. Please welcome William Wu.
Woo! Hey! Thank you for the introduction. I did not expect that at all. I was expecting a simple, this is William here. And there you go.
well, we need to, as creators, we need to build and frame a story. We gotta,
yeah,
bring the viewers and listeners in. But yeah, William, really happy to see the success with the short film that you've gotten so far, and excited to see where it's going, which leads to this question. You're just coming out of the film program, you're starting to work in the industry, but I have to ask you this question now, because we need a post, we need a marker in the road. Have you made it yet?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I did a lot of thinking and reflecting on that. And my answer is no. I don't think we made it yet. May not be today, may not be tomorrow, but I believe it will be someday. And just thinking back of the past and what I experienced, there is nothing but gratitude and thankfulness that has just washed over me. Even though I've been through 4 years of the film program and going through so many ups and downs, and to come out with it with directing a personal short film on a topic I'm passionate about, and also getting hired to work on a few Disney films on TV shows and whatnot at a young age, at 22, is really awesome to see how far I've done. But I feel like there's so much more ahead, and I feel there's so much more for me to learn. And so it is not fair for me to fully stop and say, yes, I have enough, because right now I have a lot more in me and I just want to keep going.
Nice. That's what we want to hear. And it really is like a great start coming out of film school and being able to really hit the ground running. We'll touch on the short and go more in depth a little bit later, but I do want to, ask you first, what kind of inspired you to start, really thinking about directing and pursuing this. It's not stable. It's a tough industry to crack and go into and pursue. But what was it that really pushed you, inspired you to know that this is what the career path you wanted to choose?
Yeah, I think it all comes down to the very beginning of where it came from. And for me, as a kid growing up, I wasn't really good at any subjects like math, science, biology, chemistry, calculus. Those things were bad. I would get like 50% or less. But the part that I always enjoyed the most as a kid was watching movies. And it all started with my dad and I just spending the weekends watching movies like Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones, James Bond. And then when I start looking at the behind the scenes and seeing the creation behind it, I had this realization that people actually do this for a living, that people actually get to be creative as a full-time work. And so that inspired me to try film school and see if that is the passion that I wanted to do. During first year, I didn't think about being a director until a little bit later. I thought my passion was in camera. I thought I had editing background. I thought my arts was the one that would speak to me. But after a while, like directing draws me in more because I completely fell in love with the process of telling a concept to a file development. I feel like it is such a reassuring and such a amazing experience for any person to see that process, to think of an idea, think of a concept, and to see it come to life through hard work and through collaboration. And to me, that is the reason why I love directing so much. Is not about being the best person as a storyteller, it's not being the best person in your arts. It is the middle ground person to gather as much creators, gather as much creative people as much as possible, to point them in a common direction. And the directors I look up to the most is his name is Pete Docter. He's a director at Pixar that did films like Monster Inc., Up, Inside Out. He did a most recent film was Soul. And a couple of weeks ago, there was this online virtual Rotten Tomato Q&A show. And I was able to attend that, and I was able to ask my question to him. And I was one of the top 5 people to have their question asked.
Nice.
And I asked him what are some key qualities should directors strive for? What is it that should all directors should be like to be in the position that you're in? And he explained to me that you should have, the courage to do trial and errors, like to keep trying, embracing mistakes, and to appreciate the process, that things are not always as perfect. And so you gotta keep trying, keep developing. And he also created this imagery in my head that each creator should have the intention of having a Venn diagram. So having these 2 circles. And when you tell a story, like, can you tell a story where everyone can fit in the middle circle rather than to be in the polar opposite of the spectrum? And he kept telling us, like, in every story we love and every story that we fall in love with, we do that because we see ourselves in that character, or we see ourselves in that world. And to me, that really amplifies the reason why storytelling is so important, why directing is so important, because it is so bigger than we expected. And so that's kind of my pitch of why I love directing.
I love that whole aspect that you brought up in terms of it's a whole collaborative craft. Like you as a director are not just like king or queen of a set, like you are collaborating with other people, but also having a point of perseverance, because trial and error is incredibly scary, but you need to be pushing through to find your hits and misses too. In terms of collaborating that you've had with different people, was there a time during the short films that you've made that has really pushed you in terms of understanding everyone's different skill sets and then still having that collaborative spirit to push on to create something that you love and the team loves?
Absolutely. It's an ongoing battle in a way. Like, it's not always perfect in the beginning. And as a director, it is always within your best responsibility to always prioritize story as much as possible, also prioritizing how others will feel and being honest with each other, be honest with how it may look and how it may feel and how people may react. To me, that's the process that I love doing the most. That will be in table reads or within constant meetings. I always have this honest opinion about what you guys think, what you guys think about the story that we have. And as a director and the person leading the story, you are vulnerable of accepting criticism and accepting feedback. And it's scary. It is a very scary position to be in, but I really embrace that because I truly believe that any sort of feedback you receive should come from a good heart and from good intentions.
Mhm.
And it's good to catch those mistakes early on rather than to see it
Mm.
on the bigger picture. And those type of feedback are more valuable because it shows you what things are working and what's not working. And
Mhm.
so when it comes to having that expectation, having that level of perseverance and acceptance, for me, I love leading by action. I don't like telling people what to do. That's not in my blood. Like
Mhm.
when people see me like taking all these feedback and taking all these hits and taking all these criticism and somehow turning those into a beneficial growth and improving and beneficial growth and changing, that in a way kind of create this infectious behavior for all the departments, in my camera department, art department, and costume, to also lead that way as well within departments of taking these feedbacks, having conversations, seeing what's working, what's not working, and then move on from there. And to me, that can possibly lead to the success of our short film, of why it's so strong compared to others, is the fact that we did this different countless version multiple time and not being shy of mistakes, not being shy of our failures because we want to tell this best story as much as possible. But how can we know that it's good unless we see the bad side of it first?
True, true.
Yeah, and I think that's a very like healthy way of approaching it as well. When there is a certain level of like accountability and openness to different perspectives, especially if it's like say directing and like you do come across like rather contentious, you know, opposing views. Like, how are you able to really come together and like identify the positive elements of those opposing viewpoints and try to extract the best part of it and still be able to move work forward like professionally. I'm wondering then for like just the like the day-to-day processes of directing, and I guess also for directing this short film Go for Broke. You mentioned in like your posts about the film that this was like the most challenging film you've had to direct, and you know, taking a look at the progression of the program as well, this is like the culmination of your program in this final project, and no doubt you had, you know, a lot more pressure on it. What would you say was the most challenging aspect, or potentially to put in another view, like what was the biggest lesson you also learned from it?
Yeah, I love those two questions. I might do both at the same
Okay.
time to see like what are the challenges and then how I learned from that. Um, I think to me, looking back of the short film that we created, Go for Broke, there was a lot of ups and downs. And I have to be honest, it's not a clean process, even during the pre-production of concept into the very end. It is a constant battle and a constant decision to persevere and to move forward. I think one of the biggest challenge in the beginning was like pitching ideas to the school and to kind of get their thoughts and their opinion on whether or not this film should be created in the first place.
Mm.
And I received a lot of feedback saying that this is too ambitious, this is too unrealistic, there's no way this can be done within a student level project, like this cannot be done. And if I break it down to the common elements of my short film, there's, you know, romance, takes place in World War II, there's a fighter plane, there's a period piece. Like this in itself is like a major concept to deliver. And that was the first challenge I faced. But then I kept going. I really believe in this concept. And prior to this, I made other short films. I made like really small snippet, like 2 to 3 minutes short film around this topic, and for me to explore and to kind of like see whether or not this concept is worth it or not. And I show this to my closest friends, the people I really care about, I really trust most, and I get their opinion, and they're just completely invested in this concept, completely invested in this idea. And so that kind of taught me that although majority of the people may not support or approve this,
Mm.
look to those who you care the most, look to those that you really trust the most, can hear their opinions. And it all started with one person, and that was the main character of the short film. called Steve Peroki. His name is Jerry Dye. We met in 2018 through a school project. And he was the first one to really believe in this. He really thought that this is something that was worth telling and that is worth putting all this effort. And so he was the one that kept going with me all this time. And when I see that, that inspired me to keep moving forward. I think the second most biggest challenge that we face, and I think we can all agree with this, is the pandemic.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And this, I am extremely grateful to say this, but we literally filmed this, all of the live action portion, like the week before the lockdown. It happened in the beginning of March, and in mid-March, we were just literally giving the camera back to the school. We're giving the equipment back, and we just learned that school is shutting down. And from a creator and from the student, we really rely on the school's resources. Like they have the best equipment, the best computers, the best sound booth, like all the equipment you can think of, like $1,000 invested is all within this building. And we learned that we don't have access to that. And so we're just left all separated in different parts of our homes and to continue on with the short film. The school didn't really care whether or not our film was complete or not. They really care about, just get as much as you've done. But when school is over, you're it. That's it. Like whatever you made, that's it. You can keep. But that's it. And that was their intention because it is so new. And so I am left with our film completely not 100%. And there are some pieces of that we want to refilm, we want to redo again, but we don't have that option. And so that was the big challenge for me, is to start from scratch again and to figure out, like, can we finish this film in a new world, in a new sort of concept. And so this is something that we never experienced before. And so it took me a couple of months. Like we didn't worry about the school. We didn't worry about our project. I let my team kind of reset and kind of reflect and figure out like what is the best options. But a couple of months later, during the summer of 2020, with no work, the film industry is completely shut down, and there's like no hope for the future. Basically, like there's this completely big level of uncertainty. I kind of look at my short film and I feel like, well, I have all the time in the world. Might as well get back to this and start editing with my team and do this virtually. And that was the best decision I made, because it really kept me focused on what I've been doing. It gave me a reason to work on this and to be creative and have something to look forward to. And it grew to the point that we actually hire some visual effects students from the Capilano University program who were same position as we are, but then they're also looking for work. And so I decided to pay out my own pocket to hire them and to say, hey, we have this short film. We need some help creating the plane fight scene. Are you interested? And they say, yes, let's do it. And so in a way, this crazy idea became a great foundation for other collaborators and for other creators to also pitch in and help us as well. And that taught me that this film isn't about me. This film is never about the director or the storyteller. It's about the people. It's about the team. It's about the story. And that taught me to be more grateful of what I have at the time, and also be grateful for the people involved in this. And so, yeah.
I did want to ask you also just about like the people involved too. I couldn't believe you had a dogfight scene in that short film. Like that's ambitious for a student film, and it looked great too, man. Like I don't want to give out too much, but everyone should. When it does get out, everyone should really watch it. I did want to ask you about like your approach to directing performance and everything. So there's like two spectrums that I see, two ends of the spectrum. There's like not sure if you watched them, but the Safdie brothers that did like Uncut Gems and like what else is there? A Good Time. They do minimal blocking. They let improvisation just go. They just say whatever's natural, and we trust the actors. Whereas on the opposite end, there's like Michael Bay that is like very militant. Like he wants things exactly like it is on the script and everything like that, and really particular. In terms of directing performance, again, where do you land on that spectrum?
I I don't want to be too loose or to be too stern. I have to be kind of somewhere in the middle,
Yeah.
but I have been on both sides of the spectrum if necessary.
Yeah.
And you guys want to hear like what my directing approach is? Is that what I want to lead up to?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Sure. Like for me, like when it comes to directing, I really value the actor's opinion. I really value what the actors think, what the actors think, and I really value of like having some kind of like conversation or meeting before we even have any camera filming. My fondest memory is when like just a few days before we start filming, I literally sat down with all my cast and crew, do a table read, but then I didn't really nitpick on the performance. I was really focusing on like what you think about the story, what you think about your character, what you think about the direction we're in, and they will express, you know, how they felt, and they will often express like some similar events or some similar real life situation where they can portray in their characters. Like for example, one of my actor, his name is Lyndon. He plays one of the character who acts as a tragic father. Like he lost, you know, his son in the war. And at the time, he was actually having a new kid. His wife is pregnant, and he's expecting a child in a couple of weeks. And I didn't know about this until me told about it. And so I asked him, I was like, well, think of your character is tragic. Think about losing your child. How would you behave? And he nailed it. You know, he really, really nailed it. And then another character I love working with, his name is Kevin. He plays this villain, this really scary villain. And I literally talked to him and asked him how he feels. And he truly believes that his character is in the wrong, but at the same time in the right. And he kind of sees both sides of the playing field.
Yes.
And he did a lot of research. He did a lot of planning. He actually looked a bit about like what did the people react during World War II and see how they behave through real life story. And he believes that he can take that reference, take that information and apply it to his work. And literally on the very first take, he nailed it. He nailed it. It was to the point of, well, I just don't need to be in the studio. I just don't need to be there.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I love doing, is that having that conversation, having that level of respect for each other, and creates more room for creativity, creates more room for different opinion. And to me, in the beginning, when I was directing and giving these actors some tips, I have a vision in the very beginning. And once I see that, and once I'm satisfied, I will tell them, hey, we have 10 or 15 minutes left for the scene. Do whatever you want, because we have what we needed. We have what we have. I'm okay with it, but it's up to you how you want to behave. And I gotta tell you, like, one of the performances that I kept in the short film was because of that improvisation, and that was during the confrontation between the hero and the villain. That intense moment was all done through improv, and that was really intense because even I wasn't expecting that at all, and I felt that through the screen. And so that was really important to see that and see how amazing actors and actors can be.
Wow. Yeah. And just to be able to provide a little bit more backstory to the short film as we're talking about it. So the short film Go for Broke is focused on a Japanese American enlisted man, Steve Kuroki, who enlists as a fighter pilot in the U.S. Army Air Force within the story. And this is happening, you know, after Pearl Harbor and kind of the experience of Japanese Americans during World War II. And it really goes into that experience of the enlisted Asian man in America during that time. And I just wanted to ask you, in terms of, like, you mentioned your vision and getting that collaboration with your actors to see what they felt about the story, is like, what was it about this topic, this era, that really pushed you to really want to pursue it? And also, just to provide a little bit more tidbit, I know Go for Broke is the motto for the 442nd All Japanese Infantry Regiment that you've mentioned before in kind of your explanation of the film. And it's interesting is because it's something I've also seen a lot of when I watch like World War II documentaries. Like, they'll have little bits on it, but you don't really go in depth as much. Just so in that element, like Go for Broke, like what was the thing that really inspired you to pursue this and expanded from what you said, like 2-3 minute short films before to now something around like 10 minutes?
Yeah, this, like, to me, it all comes down from the very beginning. Um, I have to tell you, I'll be honest with you, like I made another short film before I made Go for Broke. And I don't want to go too much in detail, but I had a really, really, really bad experience with it. It was completely that short film kind of rattles me about like is directing something I really want to do. And so before I got into my final year, I actually sat down and got my notebook and started thinking about, okay, you went through half of your film program, you have a year left, you don't have much time, but you have a chance to create something. What is it you want to create? And so I later wrote down, okay, William, what's your top 10 favorite films? And so I listed off, and then I put down like Miyazaki, Spirit Away, or Pixar film Up, or I wrote down, Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park. But then when I look back at my notebook, I noticed that four out of the 10 films I chose were war films. It was Saving Private Ryan, Hacksaw Ridge, Dunkirk, and then at the time, Pearl Harbor. And so it got me thinking, it's like, why are these films speaking to me? Why are these films getting my attentions? And so when I got back into the film program, we were assigned with another actor or actress, and we were assigned to create a 2-minute monologue. You have 2 minutes to create this, and you have to either create the script from scratch or you either take script from the existing films. And this was Jerry. This is the main character of our short film. He's the one that started this. And we sat down together and kind of explained what is it that we want to tell. And we both agreed upon telling a war story, and most importantly, telling a story within World War II. And so we did some research. We did some Google images to get some inspiration. And we came across this photo of a Japanese American completely dressed in his uniform as a World War II bomber gunner. He has his leather jackets, but then he has this crazy smile. Like he's like really happy to be in this most dangerous place in the world. And we discovered that his name is Ben Kuroki. And he is a real life war hero who served in World War II as a Japanese American. And he became the only Japanese American to be able to fly overseas in the Pacific. And that got us thinking about, wow, there's actually a character that looked like us and has this crazy story. And so we did more digging, and then we came across Go for Broke, the 442nd. And then we also learned about the incarceration camps where Japanese American within Canada and US coast, like about like hundreds of thousands of family lost their homes, lost business, and they were sent into these camps. But then the crazy part is that there were some men inside the camps who still want to volunteer, who still want to serve, and he still wants to serve for the US Army. And those were the 442nd. And so it was this crazy research, it was this crazy downhill discovery of going through history and seeing what type of story are not being told, or type of stories that are not being told enough. And so that really inspired us to create not just one short film, but other small short films as well. We actually made like 2 small short films in total, which kind of explores the idea of this. But then leading up to the final year of school and to get a chance to direct, we took those concepts of what we learned from those 2 short films, and then we just gave it all 100% in our final short film. And so that what led to this crazy journey is to looking back at history.
Yeah, and there goes to be something to be said about casting for actual real people, which I'm sure is even harder because that person, I'm assuming, is that person still alive? No.
Ben Kuroki?
Yeah.
Yeah, he passed away like a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. But I'm sure still the pressure of portraying a real living person is pretty hard when you're casting for that role there. In the casting process, though, are you the kind of director that is more casting on the actual look of the actor? Like you want that actor to actually look like the person that you are referring to, or is it just more of that feel that you kind of have the essence of that person nailed down more than just the looks?
Absolutely. I have to say the performance beats appearance any day. When I was casting for the short film, we were actually shorthanded. Like we originally had a casting director, but she was unavailable. And so I was the only one there to kind of meet these people. But the funny part is I decided not to reveal to these auditioners that I am the director. I literally told them, hey, I'm just a assistant casting director. I'm just here to support my director and producer. I don't know what I did it. I was pretty tired, like having like 4 or 5 hours of sleep. I just wanted something to like get my energy up and get me like kind of in this, oh my God, I should not be doing this, but I did it anyway. And to me, that really gave some advantage, or people just felt more relaxed. People felt more sure that, yeah, okay, if this person is not the director, it's okay. I can do what we can. And to me, the people that I casted, the people that were in the final short film, I get to see them for the first time. I get to interact with them the first time. And not only do I really look for the performance, but also look at their level of collaboration, look at how they react to different directions. And often in the auditions, I would tell them, all right, great. Thank you so much for being here. Give me your best shot. Give me your best role. Give me your best take of this scene, which I give them the script, and then see how they react to it. And I see that. But the next challenge that I did is, okay, let's say I give you these changes, these different directions, how you react to it. And if I see a complete difference between the first time and the second time, that just shows me that you have the willingness to try. You have the willingness to change and willingness to challenge yourself. And that was an effective concept. That was a very effective way of going through who can adapt. And when I see someone who did the exact same performance from the first time, the second time, I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, that's not what we want. You know, we want someone to try. We want someone to do something different and see a different interpretation. And so that's how I go through the process of casting.
Yeah, there has to be something to be said about like being nimble and flexible as an actor, and also like show a good performance to you, who, you know, I love what you did about just saying, hey, I'm just a casting assistant. Because I just remember, like, anytime I go to an audition room and they tell me the director is right there, unfortunately I clam up, like I shrink. And then, but it's just based on what you did, you just give at least like some semblance of freedom for the actors to really express and play around, which is essentially what you want to see them do.
Yeah, and that should be it. Like that, it should be. That's my intention of going to film. That there should be some level of fun. There should be some level of passion and creativity to go around. Like nobody wants to be on a set where you're just faced with consequences or disciplines. Like that's how I want to be. And even on set, like I was just happy because this is what I love doing. This is something I really want to do forever, is to be collaborative. And I remember my cinematographer, his name is Nils. He literally went up to me and says, "Why are you smiling so much?" And I'm like, "Dude, like we're making a movie. Like, well, look at us." And he's like, "Oh yeah, we are making a movie." I was like, "Yeah, you know." And so like that's kind of how I approach things. People may think I'm too not serious, or I'm having too much fun, but at the end of the day, like this is a rare opportunity. This is a rare gift, and it is not often to say that you get to create a short film or to create something with a lot of people. Like this is a gift, and so what better way to do it than to have fun?
Yeah, and I think that's kind of in terms of, you know, what we talk about a lot in this podcast, you know, making it, and like it's not so much the destination as it is the process, you know, going through the ups and downs and recognizing that, you know, there may be a making it, you know, objective or goal at the end, but at the same time, making it is also, you know, how you approach it. And it seems like, you know, it's good to hear you having a very healthy way of approaching directing and this process, and then now you're going to the industry, and I think it's something that will help you definitely moving forward. You know, when it comes to being like doing the directing and then learning from it, especially because it is your final project, the short film Go for Broke, how did you find that element of like, you know, you realize you're a student, you're still learning the directing process. You've done some short films before, but now that you're getting to something a little bit of greater ambition, you know, how have you found in terms of really applying your kind of certainty into your abilities as a director? You know, like what points do you really know that you have a clear vision on, and what points do you feel like maybe I don't know exactly so much, but this is how I want to approach it? So in that aspect, you know, how did you feel in preparation wise going to directing this and then coming out of it? How do you feel as a director coming out of it?
Yeah, absolutely. I have to be honest, like there's a lot of risk involved in this. Like, there's a possibility that things may not go well as planned. And I accept that. I accept the fact that things may not go well as planned. There are some mistakes. And I see that with my other close directors. I get to work on the sets and I get to see mistakes happen. I see things not going well as planned, and that's normal. It is it is a mere fantasy to say that I had a perfect day on set. That's not possible. There's always be some mistakes and some sort of trouble coming around the corner. I think it really comes down to expectations. Before I want to direct, my expectation is to learn as much as I can. That was my intention. My intention wasn't to make the best film in the world or to tell this World War II story. My intention from the very beginning is to learn and to see my mistake and to improve as a director. And that was something that I kept saying over and over again to my close heads, my cinematographer, my editor. I kept telling them, like, don't take too much pressure on yourself. We're just here to learn. We're just here to try. When it comes to going through uncertainty, like I really love planning. I really love doing research. I really love to do as much planning as possible. One of the ways that I did is I storyboard, and I would literally take the script that my co-writer and I wrote, and I would literally storyboard the entire scene from beginning to the end. That includes blocking, includes direction, the acting performance. And I took this inspiration from like Pixar films, Disney films, where they literally storyboard the entire film, and they will do like a screening of like watching these drawings with music and audio. And I did the exact same thing where I took all the drawings I created, call upon close friends, acting, actress into a room, and I would tell them, hey, is it okay if I record this table read and record this performance? I take the audio, put it in my drawings, and within like months before I start filming, I already have a first cut of my film. I have it all done already. I have it all ready from beginning to the end. And I will go through the process again and asking my close friends, hey, I have this first cut of the film. They're all rough drawings with audios and music. What do you guys think? And that in itself became part of my process of facing uncertainty. Like there are some moments where you have to embrace those mistakes, embrace those failures, but at the same time, there's nothing wrong with planning as much as you can. And I had a full acceptance between both sides. And so that's how I move forward.
I did want to ask you this one thing in terms of like coming from the other side of things, whereas you're in front of the camera. Oh, sorry, well, you're behind the camera. I'm in front there. What's one thing that you wish actors knew about directors?
Yeah, like I gotta think about that. Yeah, like for me, I will tell my cast that I am thankful that you're here, that I'm thankful that you're sharing your time and sharing your passion through this project. Every single person that worked on the short film were strictly on volunteer basis. They're doing this because they want to. They want to do this because they care. And so I always kept telling them that I am so thankful for you to be here. And I do that not because I have to. It's not because I'm trying to be nice, because that's how I genuinely feel. And that's how I am as a person. Like every single person that I work on the short film, they are giving their time, giving their expertise, and giving their resource for this project. They were not doing this because I told them to. They're not doing this because I'm a director. They're doing this because they want to.
Yeah.
And so I made it very clear every single day. And I even do this, like even before we start the day, I literally go find a quiet place and I just like pray as much as I can. And I'd be like, Lord, please watch over my team, watch over my cast, watch over my crew. I don't care about this. I'm happy where I am, but just like, please like make this as good a day as possible. And I really make sure that they're aware of that from the very beginning. And I make sure they're aware of that at the end. I even like message them, I was like, hey, how do you feel? Whatnot. I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, like once you have these close relationship with your cast and actors, you know, it became your friends, it became your best friends, and you just are there to have a fun time. And till this day, we still talk about it. We still talk about that day on set. And it's crazy that we were only there for 4 days, but then it still made this impression, this really amazing impression as we move forward. And they're just super excited to hear how the short film became. And they're so excited about how much recognition we're receiving from Film Fest, that they're as excited as you are. And that's the thing that I want to approach, is that a director and actor should be not just friends, like best friends at the end.
Nice. No, that sounds incredible, because you as a director, like you set the tone for the overall feel of the set. You know, if you're in a shitty mood and everything like that, it's going to carry over into everyone from your DP to maybe even craft services or something like that. Like maybe they'll like put your food on really shittily or something like that. But yeah, no, it sounds like you foster a really good environment for everyone to actually do their best work, which is, in my opinion, one of the major roles of a good director, to make everyone have the freedom to do their best.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've seen that in the industry as well. I worked on a show called Motherland for Salem, which is a free-form production that's owned by Disney. Oh, and cool. I saw that in person, of seeing multiple directors working on multiple episodes. And I was the trainee assistant director at the time. I was interning through Disney internship. And I got a chance to see like 6 or 7 directors come and go, working with the exact same cast, working with the exact same crew, but then the directors interchange because each episode, it has a different style. And I really got a close relationship bonds with the cast. I got a close relationship with the crew. But then when a director comes in, they really do set the tone. And when people are having a fun and thrilling time, most 9 out of 10 is because of the director's mood. And I feel like that is so important, because not only are you the one that people look up to, how you behave, how you approach problems, how you set the tone, set the attitude, like people do look up to that. And this is one of those small moments when, if I'm like working with a director and I'm like asking them if there's anything to help. I have this one director who, I forget, I might have to come back, but then she literally asked me, like, oh, like, how can I help you? Like, what do you think about the scene? And I'm like, I'm just an intern. Like, why are you asking me about my opinion? And she was that caring. She was that genuine person. And that was a director that everyone loved to work with. And so after experiencing that and seeing that, and then looking back on my past experience in short film, is like those small act of kindness, taking that initiative to be as kind as possible unconditionally, is so powerful. Like you have no idea how much impact it can make. It can be like a long day on set, out in the rain, drenched, you know, you can't feel your bones or whatnot. But when you see just one person, especially the director, just pouring the heart and soul out, it just, it switches you. You just lit up like a light bulb. Like, all right, cool. Let's do this for 12 more hours. Let's do it.
Yo, seriously though, keep that smile around set, because that literally brightens people's days. So
I can't wear a mask.
Oh, true.
They see those eyes as like, he's happy.
Yeah, you just gotta get those eye smiles going. You just gotta work them out and emphasize them more.
Yeah, my eyes is really bad. I just dancing around set. It's like, hey, how you doing? You know.
Nice. Yeah, I got to keep that positivity up, and like seeing the results. And you mentioned as well, like seeing how everybody volunteered their time, and then now you're getting some cool recognition after the film is completed. Congratulations on that, because you know you never know going into any kind of project, creative endeavor, like how it's going to turn out, and then just even knowing what the final product is as the creative, you know, just being even satisfied in that, let alone having other people now see it and then give you their feedback, is a whole nother thing. But yeah, it's great to see that you're getting some recognition there, and you launched an Indiegogo campaign to really get some more resources to put them out on more film, submit them to more film festivals. How has that process been in terms of really now entering a promotional phase of a project that you've created? And you know, what was some of the hard parts of getting that process off the ground? Because, you know, your short film, it's a student-led project. It's not going to have any kind of real backing necessarily in the beginning. It's all hard work in the beginning yourself. So how was that process to get it started?
Yeah, it was a really difficult decision in the first place. I was actually kind of don't want to do crowdfunding in the first place. I don't know why. I just have this crazy uncertainty or fear, because I'm not sure how people will react. And I, my co-writer and I, Jerry and I, we talked about this, and we decided to give it a shot, knowing that it may fail or not. And our intention was to reach out and to engage with the community. We set a goal, and that goal is just there to kind of help us apply for more film fest, because for this short film, we really put in as much time, resources, financial support as much as we can, and we pushed this as far as we can to finish it, and we're happy with the results. But unfortunately, when it comes to film fest, like, we didn't have that much left over, and so we really did have the expectation that it may work, may not work, but we did rely on the generosity of the audience, the generosity of the people backing this project up. And it started small. It started with like friends and family first, to see if that can like push us forward. And we asked the crews like, hey, you know, we're starting this campaign, and we need your support. But then I'm not forcing them. I'm not telling them to do it. I am asking out of good heart, like, it is their choice whether or not they can pursue or not, because my crew, they did amazing. They're done an amazing job making this short film possible. And so who am I to give them more things to work on? And surprisingly, they kept moving forward. They started to promote it on their own page. They start to share their thoughts about the project. They start to share like photos of the behind the scene works. And it really brought the crew together, brought the cast back together, and to work on this project again. And I'm really happy to announce that we did reach our goal. Like, our goal was, you know, 2,000, and we reached like 2.5. We broke that record. We really broke it. And
Nice.
To this day, like, people will ask me questions. I would get like messages like, what is this project about? Like, where can I learn more about this? And it really assures me that people are interested, and there is some level of support out there. But of course, like, you have to put in the work first. Like, it took weeks and weeks of planning before we launched it. Like, there's a lot of preparation on the pitch video. There's a lot of preparation of how much we can share and how much we can share about our process. We want to make sure that we're not spoiling the short film too much. So we make sure to look back and see, like, are we sharing enough? Because that's the number one issue that I see in other campaigns, is when people reveal too much to the point that people aren't interested in it. And so it was a lot of process of getting my friends to look at it and say, hey, what do you think? Do you feel like this is enough to gain enough attention? And so to me, like, I am thankful to see how the process went. And while the Indiegogo was happening, it was actually during a weird time of Film Fest. The funny part is that when we first launched the campaign, the day afterwards, we received an email that our short film got nominated from the Lee Awards for being the best student production. There was something we did not plan at all, Like we were like, yeah, we're gonna post this Indiegogo. We'll hope for the best. We started it, and then the day afterwards, our short film was on the website of the Lee Awards, and Lee Awards is like the most prestigious film fest to get in for being the best films within BC. The average estimate of submission was like over 1,000 submission per year, and only less than 10% get in. And our film was selected as the best student production.
Nice.
And that literally skyrocketed our attention of the Indiegogo in our campaign. People started talking about it. People started to learn more about it. And it came at a perfect timing because I will tell them, hey, you want to learn more about it? You want to support it? Go to this page, go to this campaign. Yeah. And I don't like promoting myself. I hate it. I hate just sharing myself or selling myself. I just don't like that. I'd be like, hey, take the link, take it, you know. But it's but yeah, I'm extremely grateful to see things turn out well for us. And now that we reached our goal, our next plan is to apply for more film fests. And there's a lot more to look forward to. And I know Toronto is around the corner. Vancouver is coming up very soon. And so it's just looking back and seeing how much effort you put in the very beginning and seeing the result now, it's so worth it. It is so worth it to put in your 100% in these projects.
Yeah, no doubt as well. How did it feel to get that first, win? You got one that says like award-winning short film. Like, how did that feel to put that out?
Yeah, like that was surreal. Like even for example, Leo Wars, that was the very first film fest we got accepted to, and it was like the top already. Like I was happy. I was like cheering and dancing around the kitchen tiles. I literally FaceTime my friends. It's like we're just like celebrating.
Nice.
We're not celebrating the fact that we won or the fact that we nominated. It's the fact that the work that we put in is taking recognition, and that our work is being taken seriously, and that our work has some sort of proof that this is a serious project and not just a student production. This is something more elevated. And so for every single person that worked on this, we're just much more prouder. We're just much more thankful for all the hard work we put in, to the point that we're being recognized for that. And so I'm extremely blessed to have that moment, and the fact that there are more film fests to look forward to, and even win the New York Film Awards. That was out of the blue. We did not expect that at all. Like I honestly thought we were gonna get like 3rd or 4th place, but no, like just have your name and having the email saying that you won.
Well, I mean, like, hey, to put it in a perfect title, you went for broke, or you go for broke for this type of things, and then sometimes you get rewarded for it. And it's great to see, and we're really excited to see where it goes moving forward. Are you currently like working on any other projects as well? I know you're working as a production assistant for an Industrial Light and Magic right now. You're still going through the film festival campaign. Is there any other kind of projects you're working on?
Yeah, I can definitely share this, and I'm proud to announce this, but we are thinking about expanding the short film into a feature film.
Wow,
like we are already like writing, we're already planning what more we can learn from these characters that we saw, and we're thinking about using this short film that we created as a way to pitch idea to studios and pitch ideas to possible funders. And I'm excited to pursue this and to bring all the cast and team back together again one more time, and to really make this into a serious project. We're thinking about applying to these film competition called Telefilm, which is this massive Canadian organization that supports first-time filmmakers to produce their very first feature film. It's extremely challenging to get in. There's a massive competition to look forward to. And so we're just thinking about just dedicating this time we have right now to create the best pitch and to continue to develop a story. And yeah, just all in all, just extremely thankful. I don't know how I get here in the first place. I still ask this question every day. It's like, what am I doing? Like, how did I get here?
We can't wait to one day see your own rendition of, say, like a Dunkirk or your Pearl Harbor one day, or your Hacksaw Ridge. So we're rooting for you, man. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, thank you. And this podcast is amazing, and thank you so much for listening and asking these amazing questions. I never thought I would answer these questions at all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, it's great to hear from your perspective as well. You know, I think you are in a very unique position. It's one that it may be tough to find this type of perspective if you're somebody who's looking to get into the process of making, if you're interested in directing, interested in film, the production side. You know, there is the pre, the during, and the post, and then now the promotional side of it. And to get your perspective, especially somebody coming out of a film program, and maybe shine a light on that, you know, moving forward, I think that'll be helpful for whoever views this or sees this episode. And you know, we talk about have you made it yet? We asked you that question at the beginning, and we've talked through a lot of the process now. So I do want to ask you if you have an idea, you know, in the future of what making it may mean to you.
Yeah, that's a really good question too. I still don't know what that may look like. That may be something I might probably answered probably a little bit better in the future. But I will definitely say, like, if your work inspire others to kind of follow your footsteps, or it inspires others to be as creative and daring, I feel like that is the best way to leave an impression. I feel like, to me, like, my philosophy is like, you live on this world for a short period of time, and if you're spending those time to doing what you love and to making difference in others, that to me is enough. It doesn't matter the riches or the status or how far I went in the film industry. It doesn't matter as long as you have this desire to help one another and to help each other reach your goals. And I'm thankful to see that I have a lot of people who help me along the way and help me become the director that I am. And I look up to them. I really look up to the people who made sacrifice to be where I am. And so I just want to keep moving forward and seeing how much there is left for me and see what plans I have for me. But I feel like, to answer your question, if we haven't made it yet, it's going to happen someday. And I really hope that this would lead to something greater than I am.
Hey, go for broke, right? Go for broke. What a great motto. But yeah, no, thanks for coming on, sharing your experience. At the end of our podcast, you know, we like, after spilling our guts and emotions, you know, we like to do a little word association game at the end, just to kind of leave things on a different lighter. It can be lighter, it can be sometimes darker, who knows. But yeah, we like to change things up a bit at the end. But so the game itself is, I'll have 10 words, Lucas will have 10 words, and we'll go through our list of words. And after each word, William, you know, clear your mind, you know, go into a Zen meditation state, and then just answer and say the first word or idea or thought that comes to mind with each word that we say. So Lucas, do you want to go first?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
And so you guys go back and forth? Like, I just go after what you said?
So Lucas will have 10 words. He'll go through his 10 words first, and then I'll go through mine.
All right, bring it on. I asked you.
Yeah. All right. You feel good? You feel loose? Flexy?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Awesome. Okay, first word of 10. This is actually like a two-parter. Michael Bay.
Explosion.
Nice. Perfect.
Yeah. Second word, pursuit.
Journey.
Performance.
Art.
Direction.
Map.
Capilano.
Home.
Nice. Broke.
Me.
That's good. Talent.
Outreach.
Heat.
Cold.
Oh, okay. Casting.
Director.
Nice. Last one, William.
Me.
To the point, man. I love it.
Nice. We got a pace going with this game. All right.
I don't know why I said me for broke. What the heck?
Hey, the truth will set us free.
Dang. I'm exposed.
Yeah. All right, William, clear your mind.
Ready.
Going to a Zen place. First word is childhood.
Fun.
Banana.
Bread.
Sun.
Kiss.
Solitude.
Confinement.
Goal.
Adventure.
River.
Fishing.
Circle.
of life.
Kumquat.
Fruits.
Yep. Winning.
Losing.
And finally, finish.
Bravo.
Bravo. What a way. Bravo, William. What a great episode. Thank you for coming on to the Have We Made It Yet podcast. Yeah, I think it's been a great conversation talking about your experience and the short film Go for Broke. Yeah, do you want to do like a quick promo for it? Like, where can people find more about Go for Broke?
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram at Go for Broke film. You can also go online, just type on the URL goforbrokefilm.ca. You can learn more about this film, learn more about the team, and seeing it up close of the trailer. But we'll launch this online for everybody to watch for free without no charge very soon in December 2021. And yeah, like I'll see you all there soon.
Great. And share with us as well, like your social media or where can people find you specifically?
Yeah, I'm not that special. I'm just had like a Instagram of like some of my sketches and art. You want to look at that? You can look at on Instagram at William Wu Art. And so you'll be able to see what I do for fun.
Nice, man. I definitely, I would recommend personal directing Instagram, share some of those behind the scenes, some of those shots of you in action. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm terrible when it comes to photos. I just look at myself, it's like, oh my God, I look so red.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Great. Lucas, what are your handles?
Everyone can find me across social media at Lucas John Ng. Again, Ng is 2 letters, N for Nancy, G for golf. And where can people find you, Josh?
You can find me at Josh Yang Comedy across all social media, as well as, got to promo the other podcast, the Sleep with Josh podcast. If you're tired at night and you can't fall asleep, you can listen to me drone on about different things as I read laws, the dictionary, other boring things, count sheep. I read the digits of pi for 31 minutes and 42 seconds. So that was a fun, nerdy episode. So if that interests you, go ahead and listen to that. Sleep with Josh across all streaming platforms. But also, hey, if you like what you've heard, you like what you see for this podcast, the Have We Made It Yet podcast is available for streaming for free across all platforms. Check us out on our YouTube channel as well, the Have We Made It Yet YouTube channel, and follow us across all social media at HWMIY podcast, at HWMIY podcast.
And I did want to add one more thing. I did not know we had this, but we have 2 reviews on Apple Podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
So if you do like what you see, probably what you hear more on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. We'd love to read it. And also we'd give you a shout out too on the show. So please let us know what you think. And we'd love to hear what you read. So yeah, thank you so much.
Comment on the YouTube channel, YouTube videos. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, to the podcast. Yeah, the self promo of that bit is also cringy every time, Will. But
okay, just keep trying.
I totally feel that, self promo position. But hey, you know what? Thanks for coming on. Thank you to everyone for listening, and we will see everybody in 2 weeks.
Awesome.
Right on.
Peace.
Thank you so much.